All right. Good evening, everybody. This is the opening of Norton Conservation Commission regularly scheduled meeting for Monday, September 22nd. It is now 6:31. And it is a combination meeting with us being here in the Winnicott room and the rest of the commission and many members are on Zoom. So attending the meeting tonight for commission members are myself and Julian Kadish. We have Joe Carvalho, Dan Pearson, and Courtney Miller. And we also have Mark Fernandez, Lisa Cordova is unable to attend, and we have, you have everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we also have John Thomas and Megan Harrop, our director and assistant. First item on the agenda is meeting minutes. Our last meeting minutes of November 8th. I looked through them. I don't have any comments. Anyone have any comments about the last meeting?
Yes, if we go to page 4, then the second line up from the bottom of the page, Kadish describes he project for the applicant.
So we may not have the same layout, but this is under file number 250-1186.
-1 1186. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Kadish describes he project. And
I think
Describes
it's
the
also the line above that, it's case-ish.
yeah,
But anyway, despite whatever orders might be coming out of the executive, I think we don't want this to be a he project, but the project.
Okay, I can do that.
yeah, I understand. All right, any other questions or comments about minutes of September 8th? If not, we can consider a motion to accept the minutes of September 8th as corrected.
So moved.
Motion by Joe,
Second.
seconded by Mark. A roll call vote beginning with Dan and Courtney
Aye.
and Mark and Joe.
Aye. Aye.
And I will throw in an aye as well, so the motion carries. Our next item is violations. Anything new with the violations? I think they were had a plan for each last time.
Yeah, so the violation for 93 King Philip, they sent me over some new information today. I'll be recirculating that. I have a site walk scheduled September 30th with their wetland consultant to go over the expectations for making sure that that site is stabilized through the winter. And then, for instance, then we're going to discuss the potential for mitigation aspects, but they're going to be coming in for October 6th, that meeting, to kind of give the commission a more final mitigation plan and hopefully have this all wrapped up by then. The 181 West Main Street project, that one, they're going to be filing an after action permit. I think they're working on it. But as of right now, I haven't had any updates on that as of yet. So, you know, they said they were going to have something for us for the next meeting. So hopefully we can get in touch with them then.
next on the agenda is an update for 376 Old Colony Road about 2 areas of restoration.
Did you put them up here?
I believe so. I'll double check.
I'll put them up on the screen too.
All right, we sent you the copy.
Yep,
So
the
the-
front and back area.
Yeah, there were 2 areas of proposed restoration. One in the front of the lot and the other in the back.
Alright, so let's start with the front. Let me just. get this plan. Share my screen. That's why. Okay. There we go. Everyone see that plan?
Yes.
All right, and so we have a representative of the applicant. You wanna just describe what's going on and,
So I have both of them prepared for the mitigation. I have deer fence put up all the way around them to try to keep the deer out from eating the plants. And right now, we're having a difficult time finding all of the plants that we need to plant, but we're searching several nurseries to try to get this planting to happen. Hopefully, by the middle of October, I'm completed with both of them. That's what I'm hoping.
so I assume the plan is to plant as many as you can find now, and if you have to do more in the spring.
Yeah, well, if worst case scenario, I would probably do one and then leave the other for the spring if worst case scenario, if we can't find what we're looking for, but that'll hold me up, so I'm trying to get them both done so I can move forward with the rest of the property.
Yeah. So part of the thing is that this has been something that, has been on the Conservation Commission's radar for a while. And, one of the big topics of discussion was, I know Mr. LaCivita here would like to do something with the property in the future. Unfortunately, there was a pre-existing enforcement order on the property when he purchased it, and part of it was that he would have to provide that mitigation aspect to release himself from that old enforcement order. And he came in for a design about 2 years ago with Ken Thompson from 5 Wetlands. And they had this design, and he's shaped the basins and everything, and everything's kind of been, left to its own devices for a little bit. And now he's finally kind of coming in with a formidable planting plan to get him through the whole entire process. The biggest kicker here is that we need to make sure that the wetland mitigation area is successful, and Steve LaCivita is gonna be responsible for making sure that all plants that he plants out there survive at least a 2-year monitoring period. So that's where it's gonna be important for him to make sure that his wetlands botanists and himself understand that, regardless of whether the commission allows for the release of the enforcement order as part of his in good faith, he still needs to make sure that he keeps to this 2-year monitoring. Now, if he did come in with a potential permit or a project application, we could wrap that into that permit as well. It would just be at the discretion of the Conservation Commission. So I'm just letting the Conservation Commission know that as long as he starts the work out there, we can wrap the mitigation as part of the whatever proposal that if he wanted to come in for a notice of intent application or something like that, we could wrap that into that order of conditions if we needed to.
When are you intending to complete the seeding with New England wet mix? Because I see there's sizes, quantities, etc. with your plant schedule. It sounds like you're having trouble getting a hold of a lot of the plants that you're looking for. So is anything going down in the meantime?
The back replication right now has grass covering over the whole area. The front area does not, but it's all protected by siltation fence all the way around it. And if we can't find the plants, then I'll put down the wetland seed mix in order to, get the germination on it. That's the plan, is to get the plants in, and then he also has on the plan here, he also has, how much seed that we're putting down in each area. So I was in hopes of getting this planting done between the 24th and the 1st of October, but he just, let me know that he's having a hard time getting all the plants that need to be planted. So he's in search of it right now, but he said he's got 5 other applications that he's also doing right now, and that's why there's a shortage of, the wetland bushes, I guess.
John, is there any concern about soil loss in this front end?
For the area that he has, most of the area that he has, I mean, I went over to the site the other day. Most of the areas that have been kind of left unattended or haven't been mitigated with plantings, they're kind of established with some sort of vegetative cover. So I'm not really entirely worried about the. Am I hearing feedback?
Yeah.
Who's got the feedback?
Oh, is this?
No, it's not us.
I'm not worried about sorry, we're hearing feedback, so I apologize. I'm not worried about the area being, for soil loss or erosion potential for the area. It's more so with making sure that the work in the order or the enforcement order is upheld, and making sure that he can continue making progress towards this, because the biggest challenge that I've had with this is that, the reason why this is happening now is that there's a potential proposal coming down our pipeline that, obviously is gonna be coming in soon. And I just wanna make sure that this doesn't get lost in the weeds or lost in transition here, as an afterthought. This is more so saying that this needs to get done before they can move to the next phase with what they wanna do on the project site. So I'm just trying to bring Steve and his team into this and just basically say, this needs to happen before then, for instance, we can allow for any sort of issuance of an order of conditions, because we can't issue an order of conditions when there's an active enforcement order. We just can't do that. So this is kind of where we need to basically kind of put our foot down and say this needs to happen before we get any sort of proposal in front of us.
All right.
John, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Particular plant species that you're struggling with?
I can't answer that. I'm not the botanist. I don't know what he's chasing, what he's not chasing, but he's made several calls for me to, and he's waiting back on, proposals from different nurseries. He's already put out, what he's looking for, and he's waiting back for the information from them. So
My question is just this, like, there's American elm in here, and we know that's a Dutch elm species, very common in the area here. The silky dogwood's got some issues. I'm just curious if there can be substituted with something that might be a little easier to get a hold of.
And I think that's definitely an option, Joe. I think that if their wetland botanists would give us, a list of potential substitutes for species that they can't get their hands on, I think that is definitely something I could present to the commission. I just found out about this last week, so that's why I told them to come in front of us here. But if their botanists can't find the species that is basically needed or that was put on the plan, they should provide alternative species that would fit the mold of kind of making sure that they can keep with what their vision was for the mitigation area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any further questions or comments about this? So it sounds like you have a plan going.
Yeah, well, I can't go any further. Like, I have units that are not rented. Right now, the property stabilizes itself, but I have to get these planted in order to move forward. That's the bottom line.
Right,
Um,
but I think,
Otherwise, my hands are tied. I can't do anything with the property.
but I think the idea of substituting for those things that
Yeah,
are
that
not
would be great
obtainable.
if that's what we can do. If you can
Right.
find,
Yeah, I think that would be an
I mean,
option.
I would just talk to Ken and tell him that if he's unable to find selective plants, he should be putting together a list of plants that would constitute sufficient
well,
substitutes.
he's the one that's actually chasing the products for me as far as.
Understood, but I mean, part of it is that, you know, if you can't find a specific species in a certain time frame, that's, you know, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is not unheard of where you can't find a specific species that was on a plan 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, if you need to make changes or make an alternative to a certain species, you can provide a new list to the board for acceptance. The challenge is that my board only meets every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So how am I physically supposed to like make that determination, because the next time that we're gonna have a meeting is October 6th. And, you know, I guess my issue is that and not to, you know, put any shame to the wetland scientists or anything, but you know, that is basically their job, to basically give you that opportunity to say, okay, well, here's my suggestions for potential, you know, plants that I would recommend, or provide you an alternative list of plants. I mean, I haven't been provided all that. The only thing I was provided was this plan, you know, that lists a bunch of species here with, you know, with areas where you're gonna plant them. That's great. But for instance, if you're having trouble finding those species, let me know, let me communicate that. And I will try to like assist you in the process to my capacity, but no, I didn't know that you were having trouble finding those plants.
I didn't know up until the other day myself.
So, I mean,
So I had plans on planting the week of the 24th to the 1st of October, being 100% completed with both of them. But then he reached out to me 2 or 3 days ago and told me that there was certain species that he can't find. And they're tiny, the ones that he's, you know,
well, what I would say is make an effort to get what plants you can basically get now, put them in, and you can fill in the other ones as we go.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I mean, we need to get this done.
yeah,
This
I
has been-
need to get it
This has
done
been
worse than
lingering way
anybody
too
does.
long. And, you know, the other challenge that I have is that, you know, the reason why this is now, you know, a hot topic right now is because you guys want to do something on the property, and I understand that. But the challenge is that we need to make sure that this gets done beforehand.
I understand.
John, I have one more question here.
Mhm.
Is any of this machine work in here? Or is this
This-
all hand?
This should all be done by hand.
Okay, I didn't see any notes in here on that.
All the planting is gonna be done by hand.
Okay, so then there's no reason we shouldn't be able to get the seed mix at least installed. Cause if
Yeah.
we're bringing these in by hand or even with a hand truck, I mean, these trees are very small.
Yep.
There should be no reason, you know, that we can't at least get the seed mix in and start to stabilize this
Yeah,
better.
that's not a problem. The back one's already been done,
All right. So
so it's just a matter of doing the front one.
I guess my question is, you said you were gonna start this week, right?
That's what I wanted to do,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so then that is the plan. I would like a list of the plants that you can't find.
Yeah.
And that you need to substitute. That way I know exactly which plants we should expect not being out there.
Yeah.
And which ones, give me confirmation of which ones you can find. That way, for instance, when I go out there for an inspection, I know exactly which plants I'm gonna find when I go out.
Alright.
All right?
All right, and I would also add that, this might be an issue, that we can authorize John to make an administrative decision without having to wait until a meeting, with regard to okaying substitution. So, I mean, I don't have the level of botany background that I would really add anything substantive to, you know, ratify a substitution decision. So, I think, can we do this motion? Do we need to do a motion, or can we just, to authorize you to do an administrative decision on these substitutions?
The commission can do that if they feel comfortable doing that. I mean, I've done wetland mitigation projects my whole entire career, so.
So, anyone wanna offer a motion to authorize John to approve the substitutions on this project?
So moved.
Seconded.
So we have a motion by Dan, seconded by Courtney. Roll call vote again. Dan and Courtney, how do you vote?
Yay.
Aye.
And Mark and Joe.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so you're all set there.
Okay. So when do you think everything's gonna be?
I'll reach out to Ken Thompson tomorrow and I'll tell him that you want a list of substitute plants. that-
Mhm. I want a start date, and I also wanna know when you guys think you're gonna be done.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right, well, thank you.
John, I would still love to see the list if possible. If you
Yeah,
would-
that'll get circulated.
Yeah, we will certainly look at it, but I think in terms of avoiding any delay, John can do the administrative approval and then give us the final result in our next meeting. You are all set.
You're all
Thank you.
set, Steve. Thank you.
Good night.
So next on the agenda is our hearings that have been continued. Now,
They've already all been voted on.
right, and so file number 250-1180, it looks like it's been continued until November 10th.
Mhm.
And 250-1186 is October 6th.
So for 1180, I'd just like to make a correction on that one.
Okay,
They re-upped their continuous continuance request because 10/20 is the town meeting date.
right, right.
So the next date that what was it, Megan, again?
11:10.
11/10. So they made a request for 11/10. So I need the board to just sanction that and just say that that is fine.
Okay, so looking for a motion to continue file number 1180, which is 61 West Main Street, the current Honeydew Donuts site.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
and that's a motion to continue until 11:10. So Dan and Courtney, how do you vote?
Okay,
Aye.
And Mark and Joe?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so motion carries. And the next item is, so I didn't see any other hearings that requested a continuation.
Leonard Street requested one this morning.
Ah,
Yes, they did.
okay, and their preferred date is
The 6th.
so
To
October
October
6th. All right, so we are looking for a motion to continue Zero Leonard Street project, which is file number 250-1178 until October 6th.
So
So
moved.
moved.
So I think Joe got the motion, Dan got the second. Courtney and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
aye.
And Joe and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, that motion carries. And then the last item in the discussion items, well, I shouldn't say the last, but town meeting is October 20th. So we cannot hold a meeting that day. It had been provisionally scheduled, but there will be no meeting of the Conservation Commission that day. And we'll all have fun at town meeting, right?
Oh, yes.
Any other items to discuss in public inquiries department updates?
As of right now, I mean, the most recent one was 376 Old Colony. They're gonna be coming in with a proposal at some point. But I told them that they need to fix their wetland mitigation requirements first before we entertain any sort of proposal on the property. So that's why they were here this evening.
All right. So next up is file number continued public hearing, file number 250-1184, which is both 0 and 77 West Main Street. This is the old, 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 this is the old Clarence Ridge site, I believe.
Yes,
He
yes.
lives- he lived there. And this involves we will recall the discussion of Article 97 property, which divides the two parcels that are being considered for development. So we had essentially everything presented in the last meeting, is that correct? So the only thing left for this meeting is to potentially close the public hearing and then later act on the order of conditions.
Yeah, and I guess in addition to that conversation that we had regarding the town having a license agreement, that was all vetted through the select board that Thursday night following our meeting. So that has all been gone and vetted through town council as well. The select board, I actually attended that meeting. The select board made it very clear that they had town council's involvement while they were administering it and signing it that evening. So my understanding is that they have the opportunity to go through that, and then it's in our packet that I gave everybody for this project. But
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I just, because I was not all that familiar with Article 97, I think we have to present to everyone involved in this particular project a rough summary of Article 97. So I just want to read into the record description. This article dates from 1972. It is an amendment to the Massachusetts Constitution, and it's intended to protect the public's right to a clean environment, and the primary purpose is to ensure that there is no net loss of protected lands, including which includes conservation easements and parklands. And if you want to change the designation of those lands, there is a well-specified process, which in the local town involved must have the votes of the governing board. In this case, it is the select board and the board that oversees the particular land, and in this case, that is Parks and Recreation. And then the change in use has to be brought before both houses of the Massachusetts legislature, and the requirement for changing is that there is a 2/3 majority of the legislatures voting for it, and it can be a voice vote. So the next point of discussion was whether or not our review from conservation's perspective can be closed while this process is still pending. And there are many circumstances in which we do that already. So to me, the answer is yes, we can close it, we can issue an order of conditions. Some of the other projects that have this issue of other boards having to continue review after we have completed ours, generally planning board is in that circumstance, Board of Health, Army Corps of Engineers, MEPA, MISA, and Mass Department of Transportation, to name just a few. So from my perspective, I feel comfortable closing this hearing and issuing an order of conditions. And we do have a copy of the license agreement that was processed and voted on by the select board with input from town council. So I have no concern or hesitation that the proper procedures are not being followed. So with that discussion, anyone on the board have questions about this process of Article 97, which really, in this case, doesn't directly concern us?
I don't have any questions, just maybe a comment and in reading the agreement that was put into the folder versus the proposed order, it's clear that the order is going to persist with this lot of land in perpetuity, right? The license agreement is specific to say that it is specific to the owner, not to the property. So my only thing is, I'm just thinking in terms of the conditions, I want to be clear that, again, just playing out worst case scenario, something happens with that easement. I understand from the discussion last meeting, that area would be used for potential snow storage. So if for some reason in the future there was some issue with that spot, there would have to be either other areas selected for snow storage on the property outside of the easement, or as we discussed, taking it offsite. So I just want to make sure that gets clearly delineated in the order so that 50 years from now, somebody is looking at this, trying to make sense of it. It's clearly laid out there.
Yeah, well, when we get to the discussion of the order, we can review that, but I think, I think that's in.
I didn't put specifically in that piece of land, so that's definitely something we're gonna want to itemize.
Yeah, I know we talked about snow storage, and if for some reason it wasn't adequate on site, it would be the owner would be responsible for removing it to an offsite location. So I just want to make sure that that's clearly laid out there.
As I recall, the discussion of snow storage with that particular parcel was, it was a very small portion of the parcel that was going to be considered for snow storage, in addition to other locations on the property. All right. So I think unless there are any questions, and we do have, actually, are you the owner, sir, in the audience?
Yes, I am.
So you don't have a question about this?
I don't.
Okay. All right, and I don't see any hands raised with regard to the other Zoom people in the meeting.
This is Rich from Field Engineering on behalf of the owner.
Yeah,
I don't have any additional questions. I believe this was the only outstanding issue of the discussion, so.
all right.
Are there any rules about use of snow melt or other accoutrements?
De-icing chemicals at the bottom right here.
Yeah,
That's gonna be in the order when we get to that part of the.
okay.
And that'll be later in the meeting.
We do
Yeah.
have snow storage, snow removal procedures in the operation and maintenance plan as well. That will prohibits the use of salts and chemicals for snow melt. It'd just be sand, and then stressing that the snow will melt through the stormwater management system. That would be that's the intent of the stockpile areas as best we can. So plus the whatever conditions are in your orders as well.
All right, so unless there are further comments or questions, we can consider a motion to close the hearing for file number 250-1184.
So moved.
Second?
A motion by Joe, seconded by, that was Mark, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, seconded by Mark. So Courtney and Dan, how do you vote?
All right.
Courtney, you have to abstain. I
Yeah,
think.
Courtney, you gotta abstain from this one.
Yes, I guess we'll have a quorum, I'll get to do that, so, all right, so we have Dan's aye, Mark and Joe,
Aye.
Aye.
and I'll throw in an aye. So the motion carries. we will consider the orders of conditions later in the meeting. Next on the agenda is file number 250-1187, which is 0 John Scott Boulevard. It is a new public hearing. And it involves construction of a house with on-site well and septic system. Is there a representative of the applicant?
I'm the owner. Is Bill there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're showing
Yes.
up as Mike.
Yes,
I
Mike
think
Showcat.
Bill's muted.
So Bill, if you are the representative, you are currently muted. I don't know if you can find the button.
Is Bill up?
Bill is up. He seems to be struggling with
Yeah, yeah.
finding
no,
a
it's
way
all right.
to unmute the mic.
I wish I came down there. I should have just came down.
You can't unmute him.
I can't unmute him, no.
Okay.
I can ask him to unmute, but I can't unmute him. Alright, let me just put up the plan.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
I'm gonna have him just rejoin.
Alright.
Okay.
Just zoom this thing in a little bit, so. Let's see it.
So what you should be seeing now on your screen is the part of the parcel that is not in wetlands. And you will note that the entire parcel, the entire upland parcel is in buffer zone.
Yeah, so this property abuts the water and sewer department. If anyone goes down John Scott Boulevard, it's the piece of property that is right next door. If you're heading east towards I guess 140, this is the property that is directly abuts the water and sewer department, but they're proposing a 3-bedroom house. Looks like they have a septic system and a driveway off of John Scott Boulevard. I went out there to take a look at the wetlands. I didn't have any issues with the flagged wetlands. It does look like the topography out there has definitely been altered. There's a lot of undulating terrain, which means there's a lot of ups and downs. There's ledge, there's outcrop, there's all sorts of stuff that's gonna have to be regraded. So the whole entire site looks like it's gonna require some grading. But from my understanding, the applicant feels that they could get a perk out there to facilitate the septic system and leaching field. So it's my understanding that it did pass. But it's just a interesting kind of site. It's a very small upland piece that is basically enveloped by wetland buffer, like Julian just said, so.
John, is there any riverfront on this?
There is no riverfront on this one, Joe.
Okay.
It's just a buffer zone project. There's no floodplain either.
Okay. Vernal pools?
No vernal pools within proximity to this area. I thought there would be actually, but there isn't.
Okay.
I actually was out here back during vernal pool season.
What is the proposed erosion control protection where that well is planning to go in?
we would put silt fence all around that, I presume. Did Bill get unmuted?
No, I think
I tried to
Someone
text
said
him
he
to
was gonna try to-
unmute.
Yeah, I don't see him.
he's not here now, but, someone said they were gonna try to have him come back in the meeting.
John, I see we got at least on the sediment control, we have the stakes through the silt sock again here.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty typical.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
We can, who's speaking?
I'm sorry, this is Bill Gottwald. I'm on my phone now. I couldn't get through on my iPad, so any questions, I should be okay.
Yeah, we have been talking about the plan, we've been noting that,
Yeah, I could hear what what
okay.
you're saying, so.
Where's the well? I don't,
Well-
proposed well, I see it on the plan there.
If you see the lot, I mean, it's almost 2 acres. We only have 10,000 square foot upland, more or less. And in order to meet the setbacks for the well and septic, I had to put in a advanced treatment system, a singular unit, which allows the leaching area to be reduced by 50%. So that's up, up in the little triangle pot up there, and it just makes the 100-foot setback to the well, with the well about 2 feet into the 25-foot no touch zone.
Okay. But of course, the septic system, that's Board of Health.
Right. No.
Bill, where do you stand with the Board of Health right now?
As far as Chris has looked at, he's not given official approval yet, but last time I talked to him, everything meets Title V. I'll be honest with you, we have 2 concrete chambers in there with stone around it. He would prefer 3, which is what we're not. Reduction of the well setback of less than 100 feet. So that's why we use this nitrogen reduction system, which, so he understands by code, we meet everything by code, but he has not given his blessing. He's kind of waiting to see what goes on with you guys.
And, planning board has approved this as a buildable lot, or actually, is that planning or Board of Health?
I don't think the planning board has.
No, the planning board's not gonna have jurisdiction over this one.
It's a
Okay,
zoning board issue. It's a
Yeah, zoning.
pre-existing non-conforming lot.
Yeah, this lot is been pre-existing for quite some time, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It
Right?
is. Yep. Since the 60s, when they took John Scott Boulevard, created that lot, they cut it off of Harvey Street.
Okay. And you've got correspondence from zoning board saying that everything's good?
I do.
All right.
John, what's the plan to drill this well within the 25? I mean, you're talking a big rig to do this. I don't see any proposed here on how they're gonna contain the drill holes or any of that with it being inside our 25.
Yeah, they're gonna have to have some slurry stuff out there just in case, because they're so close to the wetlands.
Yes, we would have a pit on the upland side of the flag for the slurries, and then the truck would sit on the upland side, and just the tail end where they drill would be back into the buffer,
I'd like to see that in a plan.
Is that something you guys can provide us?
Well, I mean, what do you want to see on a plan?
I'd like to know if there's gonna be slurry holes. I'd like to know where the discharge is going.
Okay,
Whether it's gonna be pre-treated.
we can do something like that for sure. Yeah, I just didn't know what you were looking for.
Yeah, and you're probably gonna wanna flag that property boundary as well.
Yeah, I agree. That's proper. Yep.
Okay. And we're gonna want those sediment controls pretty beefy, I guess, is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I,
Yes, we wouldn't let anything run into the wetlands to create more problem, you know?
yeah, I just labeled it as siltation control, but I have no problem putting in what you think is best. Uh, besides a silt sock, maybe a hay bale, silt fence, something like that, whatever it takes.
No hay bales, but I think, silt sock with the backing of some, just some silt fence, I think would help.
Yep.
That's a double layer of protection.
Yep.
That'll be fortified probably throughout construction. I guess my question is, obviously, I do take reservation with the drilling of the well as well as Joe has kind of indicated, but I understand that you guys might be working in that area, so we may require you guys to make sure that area is stabilized and, I guess revegetated to the best of its ability. How much area you think you're gonna disturb with the well being constructed in that area? Because I know when wells go in, it's usually a good 15 feet in diameter, right? Or that gets disturbed.
Yeah.
I don't have 100% answer for you. I think that's a little bit too much, but I will
Okay.
get that answer for you from.
All right.
yeah.
Well, then I guess I want to see, potentially an area that you're gonna mark out with silt controls
All right.
that goes into the 25 and kind of gives you that limitation for the excess amount of area that we're gonna basically be restored as part of the, the efforts to restabilize and revegetate that 25-foot buffer that we have a policy for.
Okay, fair enough. What I'll do is I'll talk to a couple well guys and get that information, and I'll put it on the plan, and we'll put some type of slurry pit, because I know when they pump it, they got to clean out the well and stuff like that. So
Right.
I'll put all that on the plan for you.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know where all discharge is going.
Absolutely.
So from what I'm hearing, you probably have to drill the well before you put the other things in.
The well's gonna go first. It's gotta be tested.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get a building permit without potable water anyway. So that'd be the first thing he's going to have to do is put a well in. Once he gets all his permits in line.
And then, of course, after the well is in, you would need to minimize the impact into the 25, which I think you can do once the well is set.
Yeah, I think once we put the well in, we can restore that 25-foot line, and then on the on the wetland side, do what has to be done to restore it to what it should be.
Are you guys gonna be able to build that house, by the way, as close to the 25? Are you gonna have to, how are you guys gonna do that?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, so now that I'm looking at this a little bit, with a little bit more of a fine tooth comb, I guess the easterly, because this is upside down, obviously, the easterly side of the 3-bedroom house. Are you gonna need more room on that side of the house, the easterly side? Because, that looks very narrow to get where the 25-foot is.
I don't just, Mike, you'd be better off and
Well, I'm not sure what you had in there, Bill, 5 or 10 feet, but I don't think the house is gonna be the exact size. That's basically a building envelope so we do something because we're gonna be kind of like a tiny home over there. So that's
well,
just
right
show,
now, I have the house probably about just roughly scaling probably 3 feet off the 25-foot wide. So that's pretty tight. And
That is very tight, guys. That is very tight. I mean, and 3 feet is not much room if you need to work on the other side without going into the 25. So,
yeah. So we're
mean,
probably
that's-
gonna hug the right side of the lot.
One thing else I'd like to see here is I'd like to see a plan for excavation, where these materials are gonna be stored, whether they're gonna have to be trucked off-site, what the pile sizes are gonna be.
Well, the lot is
This
actually
site
low.
the site's awful small.
Yep. gonna be-
And you seem like you're using almost every square inch of it here.
well, you pretty much, you're right. You pretty much have to make it work as you see it. But the foundation is pretty much at Yeah, it's gonna need some work. You're absolutely right.
So
I mean, unless you basically just say that you're gonna do the septic system last, and that's gonna be your storage area while you construct
We,
the house.
we are, so everything would get piled along the road. And there wouldn't be many piles there, because if you notice, the lot was low. So, and it's all gravel, because that was scraped out when they did Johns Cop Boulevard. So as soon
Right.
as you scrape down, we're almost at the footing height. So there's really material coming in, nothing going out to,
So
to,
can
to,
you-
to grade off.
So can you guys put together kind of a phase, it's kind of silly, but it sounds silly, but I think for this site, because it's so constrained, we're
Yeah.
gonna need to know like how you're basically gonna keep this site contained with material and stuff, because, you know, I see this contractor looking at this, and unless they have a good, you know, clear cut plan of how they're gonna do this, you know, it could go downhill real quick.
No,
Um,
no, I'm a licensed septic. I'm doing all my own site work over there. I'm building the house. Guys, I'm pretty fussy. I'm gonna keep the area very clean. I'm a Norton guy. It is a tight site. I give you that, but we're gonna
So
clean it right up and
I have a question here. So you're gonna dig this hole. You got 3
Yep.
feet to work with. What's your over dig on your foundation?
that's your over digs. Well, on that one, that might be a walkout basement there. So you need a 5-foot over dig. So we're gonna
Okay,
keep
so
the
now
house a
we're
little
2
to the
feet
right.
into the no touch zone.
No, we're not gonna be into the no touch. We're gonna make it work without going into no touch, except for the well.
If we only have 3 feet here on this plan right now, then you need 5. If your over dig is 5 feet, then you're 2 feet in.
Yeah, I don't think I'm putting a 38-foot house.
Okay, well, we need to see a plan to actually vote on of what's going in here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was kind of like the building envelope, like whatever I can fit in the, I think he's got a 24-38 square there. So whatever we can fit in the 24-38,
So I would suggest shrinking the footprint of the house.
Yeah,
That way it gives you like, obviously, you know, that's gonna cut down on the potential bedroom space, but you know, I would say shrinking the footprint of the house, that gives you a little bit more room to play with for this project, and it makes it a lot
Yes.
easier for us to take a look at.
yes, yes.
Especially it gives you a lot more room to work outside the 25,
Yeah, yeah.
and that gives you a little bit more leeway when it comes to construction aspects.
John, is this a site we can get staked out and then do a site walk on?
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we could have done. But I think that, you know, obviously, I think the applicant and their designer needs to basically figure out what sort of footprint they want for the house before they provide it to us. You know, like, for instance, is it 24 by 36? Is that what this is?
I'm trying to read it myself. Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So that's,
So that might be a little bit too big for this site. You might need to shrink it a little bit. I mean, just to give yourselves, you know, kind of a 10-foot, you know, maintenance corridor. You know, in front of I mean, not saying 10, but for instance, you want a little bit more room, breathing room on the easterly side of this residence that you're proposing.
Yes, to get around the building.
Because that 25-foot no touch, guys, that's gonna be vegetated.
Yes.
So, you know, in a case of a fire and emergency or anything like that, I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, you don't wanna make sure that somebody can get around the house.
all right, well, we'll adjust the house size and we'll put something for the wells, how that's all gonna work.
John, where this well's being potentially drilled, what's the forest cover like there?
It's,
Church Street?
it's a second successional growth out there, cause I think it was all dredge spoils mostly out here.
Okay, so we're talking fairly large trees then.
Yeah, moderate.
Okay. So do we even know if we can get this in without removing trees? Is there any, is there any way we can put these larger trees here on this plan so we know how much disturbance you're actually doing in the 25?
I think that's an option. I also think that there's a lot of rock and outcrop here that they might have some difficulty drilling a well at that location, but I'm not gonna be the one that says that.
'Cause, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of issues here with this and not a great set of plans.
I just think it's a very difficult site for kind of trying to secure a house on, but you know, obviously, anybody who has a property can propose what they want to propose. It's just our job to make sure that, you know, they actually can do it. I don't know, I guess I'll let that, I would kick it back to the applicant and see what they can, you know, revise and bring back to the commission for the next meeting, I guess, at this point.
Okay, we'll add, some of that information. Well, we'll add all that, the wells, I'll adjust the house size and, we'll take a look at what trees.
They just add one more thing to the list, and I apologize if you mentioned it or either during the discussion or on the plans. I'm not seeing it though, but plans for rainwater discharge from the roof. So it doesn't seem that you could run the gutters out in that little stretch of property, the little 3-foot stretch there. And I understand you have the septic system on the other side. I don't know if you're doing a dry well or just running the gutters out, but would want to see that just marketed somewhere.
Okay,
All right, our next meeting is October 6th. So for continuation, that can be a choice, I assume. Oh, yeah, well,
Does the public have any questions?
right. Anybody on the call? Looks like no. You can either just raise your hand or take your mic off mute. But without any questions, we can consider a motion for continuing the hearing for file number 250-1187.
So moved.
Second.
Wow, that was pretty simultaneous. I think motion by Dan, second by Mark. And so Mark and Joe, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Dan and Courtney
Aye.
Aye.
and aye. Motion carries. So we'll see you next time then.
okay,
All right. very
Thank
good.
you. Have a good night.
You bet.
Thank you.
So the next hearing does not yet have a file number, at least on my agenda. It's labeled 0 Elm Street, and it concerns redevelopment of a commercial parking lot for construction of a duplex and a septic system, driveway, etc. Do we have a representative of the applicant?
Good evening, Dan Campbell, Well Design Group on behalf of the applicant. We do have a file number. It was received today. It's 1189.
And are you able to share your screen for?
I am. So what we have, I'm sure everybody knows the manufacturing facility, former mill building on Elm Street. This is the parking lot across the street. We have essentially a paved lot. We are about 92% paved. You can see our lot lines. The green space is approximate green. The parking lot's pretty grown in around the edges, but conservatively, it's about 92% paved. You can see the wetlands that John was able to point out offsite to the rear. And what essentially happens today from a drainage standpoint is the high point on Elm Street is down somewhere around my plan notes here. It comes along the gutter of Elm Street and it comes in through the bottom of the site and basically feeds the wetlands through this portion of the property. As long as everybody can see that. What we intend to do is we intend to remove all of that pavement. We have permission from zoning board and planning board for the construction of a duplex structure, approximately 2,800 square foot footprint in the middle of the property. As you can see, 100-foot buffer zone is here. And then the 25-foot no build is here. We don't plan on building anything, but we will be working in the area so that we can remove the parking lot that exists today. we are planning on filling the site basically so that there's a flat site. There's also a higher groundwater associated with the property. It is all sands and gravels underneath, but the site's been filled multiple times to get to the pavement where it is today. So that material needs to come out. Basically, placement of the septic systems is dictating the elevation of the structure. John did ask a question when we first made the submission about the water that may be going to Elm Street. As I said, right now, all of the water comes from approximately this area down the gutter of Elm Street and comes across the parking lot in this area back to the wetlands. We're reducing the overall impervious on site down to approximately 10% from the 92% that it is today. There is some stormwater flow that will come from the grass, but it's a significantly decreased amount of flow from the existing. And we're promoting, one of the reasons we didn't grade this side yard further out, for instance, is we're trying to let that stormwater from Elm Street continue to pass over the property and hopefully infiltrate in the side yard. So I'm happy to happy to answer any questions about the project as a whole or anything else that that you see fit.
Are you gonna leave a little patch for the police to sit? Because they sit there now.
They do sit there now.
That is true, yes.
I'm assuming from the proximity, everybody knows where I'm talking about. I did pull up the street view in case anybody needed to see it.
John, did you walk the offsite portion of this behind us?
The wetlands?
Yes.
Yeah,
Is there a perennial stream back there associated with that, or is it just runoff?
it's a channel, it's channelized, but it's not a perennial stream.
Okay. Any vernal pool sign there?
I did not see any vernal pools while I was out there.
Okay.
Or any
Because I know-
indication of a
I know
vernal.
there's some, it's quite wet behind this site.
Oh, yes, it is.
John, if you're gonna, I guess, if you're gonna do another site walk, I'd be interested in going along.
Dan, would you like to go to these violation and enforcement inspections that I have? Is that what you're asking me?
That's perhaps less interesting, but
Okay, sounds good. I will let you know next time I decide to go out.
okay. Thank you.
Any further questions from commission members about this?
Just one minor request to just change the language on the plan set from no build, but the 25-foot no build to the 25-foot no disturbance, just to be consistent with our language. Thanks.
All right, and you say.
Is
this
there any restoration plan for the back portion once we remove this asphalt?
It currently is shown to be grass. The applicant is happy to plant anything that the commission sees fit, basically past the bottom of the slope that we're creating for a backyard. We can plant resource area mix inside the 100-foot. We could plant resource area mix in this corner, for instance, because we know it's going to be getting stormwater from Elm Street, and we know that kind of thing will survive. If there's the request to plant a wetlands or upland shrub that will also survive the stormwater, I'm more than happy to do that as well.
John, how do you feel about that?
I mean, the area has been pavement for so long. Anything at this point, you know, that's gonna be, I guess, green, would be an overall improvement. So I'm not overly, if it was, you know, disturbed or previously disturbed, like within the last couple of years, I'd say, yeah, let's restore it, but this has been pavement for eons almost. So I think anything that's done to kind of rip up that pavement and make it more natural I think is miles ahead of what it currently is.
Will there be any markers placed on this site?
Oh, you mean for visual buffer?
Correct.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be in the order that we issue.
Okay, I just didn't see them on the plan here.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And the slope in the back, is it 3-to-1?
It is 3-to-1, correct.
All right, any, further
In that
questions?
slope, we're not berming anything onto any neighbor's properties there, are we?
No, that's the intent of sort of the application, the grading that we did. So this property somewhat grades into the parking lot as it is today and across and down. So we're providing a swale around the backside. That's one of the reasons that the grading's cut short for the yard area, for instance. This yard is lower than we are. So we're not damming anybody's water in any respect. We're rerouting it for sure from that upper neighbor, but we've given them about 45 feet of grass before we've started to reroute it.
I know in the past, the back right-hand corner of this property has had some very large puddles in it.
I can imagine it has.
Would it be worth it to just mention the status? I'm not up on it, to be honest, of the property across from this property. And does that have any bearing, environmental bearing on this property?
Fantastic question. Everybody else has asked the same question. Paul was nice enough to upload the phase 1 and phase 2 studies that the town did to the application portal for our planning application and for our zoning application. This property, if you imagine this in the property across the street, right? You've got Elm Street, you've got the property across the street over here, but the pond is about 14 feet lower than where Elm Street is. So all the contamination from the testing that the town did is coming from the building and heading towards the pond and stream down in this direction. None of it's heading towards the abutting properties or this property, for instance. If you notice, there's 2 monitoring wells on the property, one here and one here, so that they could get the cross section for property status if they needed to. But they've done a full phase 1 and phase 2, and the property is considered clean.
So if there are no further questions from members of the commission, we can open it up to anyone in the meeting who might have a question about this project.
Are these intended to be rental properties?
It's intended to be a for sale duplex, so each side will be a single family home.
Now, John, you mentioned it's good to see green things there. Daniel, would you consider or the owners consider putting in a park or maybe just a lawn or something like that? Or
So we don't work directly for the owner. We actually work for the buyer of the property. The owner doesn't plan on doing anything with the property. The buyer, because of the fill that's on the property, even a single family house doesn't make financial sense. So the duplex, the reason we went through the zoning and planning process to permit a duplex was the amount of material that we need to take off the surface just to take off the pavement. There's around 16 inches of pavement, subgrade, pavement, and subgrade that we went through to do the soil testing. So there's some material to be removed for sure.
I see. So are you saying that there is no plan then to build a duplex?
No, I'm saying there is a plan. Our client is the purchaser of the property.
Is there a disposal plan for that material attached to this?
It's not attached to this, but we do say that it has to be disposed of in a legal manner. offsite. It's dense grade and pavement, so most
Yeah.
likely it'll go to one of the paving contractors. And it's sand underneath. There's no additional deleterious material. There is some below that, but that's mostly metal. Will be disposed of as well.
Yeah, Dan will make sure it doesn't go into the wetlands.
Very much so.
Well, if it's silver, I'll sit out there all you want. And I'm guessing it's not silver.
Very good.
Isn't that what they were dealing with there at goodness, it's been so long I can't even remember the name of it.
So Dan, you know how to pick these sites just
Reed
under
Barton,
an
that's
acre,
it.
by the way. You're very, very good.
I was actually really surprised with the 0.97.
Yeah.
It was Reed and Barton as well as Eureka. And they made a variety of things. I think Eureka actually made trophies. But is this a hearing that we've gathered all the evidence, all the data we need, and we can consider closing?
So this project doesn't require a local stormwater permit because it's less than an acre. So, you know, from my standpoint, this project meets all our requirements, meets Wetlands Protection Act. Provided that the commission has no any other concerns. I mean, it's a duplex, 2 driveways. The only thing that we haven't discussed is snow storage or snow storage potential. I don't know if that's something you guys want to talk about, but
Well, they're gonna be private residences, is that?
right,
Is that, I mean, generally, it would just get pushed to either side of the driveway.
right. I guess the question is if it's getting pushed to the back, we want to make sure that it's not in the no disturbance, the 25-foot no disturbance area. So that's the only thing that I would probably say.
Yes, could we have is it too soon to ask to see where any driveways would be on the plan, or?
Yeah, they were
Would-
actually on the plan. We can bring them
So
back.
if you're able to see my screen again, we have
Oh, right, okay.
driveways. If you see, here's the 25-foot no disturb.
Right.
Right.
We're approximately 50 feet away from the 25 no disturb with the end of the driveway. Perfectly happy to take a condition that they won't push anything into there. As I heard previously, we're also going to make sure that the area is demarcated. So John would definitely be able to tell if one of these homeowners was pushing something into there.
So I don't think it's an issue. It's just, we didn't bring it up. Usually it's a topic of discussion, so.
That's because Lisa isn't here today. If Lisa had been here, it would have been like that.
I just wanted to, you know, bring it up because we usually comment on it, so. And there are no retaining walls either, so we're not gonna comment on that either.
All right, so, it sounds like we can consider a motion to close. We're not more than 21 days out from our next meeting, I believe,
No, it's just 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Are
So-
all other permits in on this project?
From what Dan was saying, it sounds like the zoning board and the planning board approved it, right? Is that right?
Zoning board and planning board approved it. The zoning decision, they voted, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago. It's about a week and a half ago. It was filed with the town clerk today. And the planning decision was filed with the town clerk approximately a month ago.
And Board of Health?
Board of Health is waiting to know that we're allowed to have the system, and we have to do one more soil test out there because they did request that the duplex has 2 septic systems, which we show on that plan rather than one shared system. So we do have to do one more deep hole test on Wednesday, is currently scheduled on the western part of the property.
Are you comfortable thinking that you're safe to close here, or should we stay
No.
open just to buffer it?
Absolutely. We dug a couple of holes the day we did the original soil evaluation. Its groundwater was too high to perform a second perk test in that area. So I'm pretty comfortable that we'll have exactly what we need.
All right. So we can consider a motion, unless there are further questions or comments, to close the public hearing for file number 250-1189.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mark, seconded by Joe. Mark and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Looks like Dan got frozen. So we'll go with Courtney and Joe.
Hi.
Aye.
So Dan, you're unfrozen now. How did you vote?
Sure. Aye.
Okay, and I'll throw in an aye as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time tonight.
You bet, thank you. So our next, and I believe our last item on the agenda is the orders of conditions for 0 and 77 West Main Street.
Yeah, and Mark had a comment regarding snow storage that I.
Yeah,
wanted
I don't even know what to do with it. This one feels weird to me. I don't know that in my time I've had one that's kind of tricky like this. And again, it kind of caught me where the lease agreement basically says that the agreement is with the person, not the property. It doesn't pass over if the property changes hands, and essentially that anybody can terminate for any reason they want. So I just want to be mindful of, if the plan is to use that back part of the easement for snow storage, for whatever reason, that's no longer an option. Is it clear to somebody that they have to now make a new plan for that? And if that includes taking it off site, then I think it just makes sense to put that in writing somewhere.
Okay, I guess the question is, how do we want to write that?
I was
right?
hoping you had something, John.
I mean, well, you kind of got me on the spot here, and I'm trying to
Um,
think on the spot. It's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, snow storage, we have a license agreement. Well, I guess the easiest one to say would be that in the event the license agreement was terminated, the terms and conditions for use of the property that's town property would be null and void, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe with just something a little bit more general to say that, that they'll ensure adequate plans for snow storage. However, we had said it in one of the meetings, I think, that including, the removal of snow to an offsite location if, I don't know, if adequate space isn't available or something. I don't know if it makes sense to also just tack on a piece about, specifically that part, if the designated area in the easement is no longer available or something. Because the other scenario, I was trying to run through any scenario in my head that I could think of. Let's say again, 50 years go by, and now that spot is also an access to a park that's back there, and we still have the license agreement anyway. Is that space still available for snow storage? I don't know. I just think it should. It's not usual that you have a part of a property that's designated as snow storage that could change for a number of reasons. So that have nothing to do with bringing, plans back before this committee.
But Mark, in 50 years, it won't snow here anymore.
Well, that's true.
Can we put climate
It's all
change
about
into the conditions?
Well, then they just don't have to worry about it, right? They're trying to figure out what to do with all the extra water.
Massachusetts will be the new California.
Well,
is
they're
true.
gonna have to replace the parking lot with concrete because Macadam won't tolerate the heat during the summertime.
John, I have one quick one here.
Yeah,
G, post-construction 31 F, where it talks about providing the copy of town. Can we also include state in there too?
you said what? 31, what?
31 F,
Yeah,
you got to highlight it here.
yeah, provide the commission a copy of the signed agreement if an easement is pursued through town Article 97. I mean,
Okay,
sorry,
can we-
state,
can-
yeah, state,
Add state, please.
yeah, not town.
So are we all set with,
Well,
Trying to figure out the
I'm
wording
thinking,
for
I'm
this.
thinking, I think I got one. I'm putting this on paper.
okay,
Just gonna throw this out here. What's the parcel number for that one? For the town's property, is it, map 22? Is it 176 or 8502? Which one is it?
Look, let's see.
Well, whatever parcel it is, the town parcel. I said snow storage shall be maintained on the parcel and not interfere with the park current and future use. So does that work for you, Mark? Is that,
Yeah, I think
that's gonna,
so.
that's gonna be a perpetual condition.
Yeah, and again, I was just thinking in the event, I don't know, there's some giant disagreement between the town and whoever owns the property in the future, and now that whole
Well, that
lot is no
basically,
longer available, they have to
that-
move that snow somewhere else, right? So,
right. So that
It-
that gives me the authority. If I find out that the snow pile is too big, I can ask and request the person that's using and basically putting that snow there to either take care of it, put it somewhere else, or take it off site if it becomes a nuisance for the actual people that might be using the park property.
yep. Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
And that would be under section H, right?
Yeah, that would be condition number 44.
Okay. Thanks, John.
You're welcome. Sorry, I had to think about that one.
No, this is a weird one. I can't think of one that's been like this in my time, at least.
all right, so we have a modified order of conditions set for file number 250-1184. Anyone want to offer a motion to accept the modified version?
So moved.
Second,
Courtney, sorry, you can't vote on this one.
again?
Yeah, sorry.
The problem is you have to,
Second.
I'm holding.
all right, so we have a motion by Mark, seconded by Joe, so Mark and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Courtney will be filed as an abstention, and Joe, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I will vote aye as well. Motion carries. We are at the end of our agenda.
Aye.
What was that?
Negative is aye.
So we now have an obligation to move to adjourn.
Did you
Motion
get
to
me on
adjourn.
that last vote, Julian?
Yeah, you were an aye, is that correct?
Okay. Yes, yes.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I need everybody
Second.
roll call, please.
all right, motion by Joe, seconded by Dan. Mark, Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
I,
And Joe and Courtney. You don't
Aye.
have to abstain from this one, Courtney. Was that an aye?
Yep.
All right, I'll throw in an aye.
All right, thank you, everybody. See
Good
you
night,
in 2
everyone.
weeks.